What would you do if the one person you trusted more than anyone on earth was secretly plotting your downfall? I never thought I'd be the man asking that question. Staring at the faint glow of my wife's phone screen at 2 in the morning, the blue light painting a ghostly mask on her sleeping face. Her thumb had slipped from the screen, revealing a message that wasn't from her sister or her work group. It was a single brutal sentence from a man I didn't know. He has no idea. See you at the usual spot? The usual spot. 2 words that detonated a silent bomb in the quiet of our Chicago bedroom on North Clark Street. My heart didn't just break, it vaporized. In that moment, I knew my life was a lie. But what I didn't know was that this discovery was the first step in a long, dark journey toward a revenge she would never see coming. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Sarah was my world. We built a life from nothing. 2 kids fresh out of college who fell in love over cheap diner coffee and dreams of a Chicago skyline view. We got that view. Corner apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows, a testament to my long hours at the architecture firm. I gave her everything. I thought we were a team, partners in every sense. But over the last 6 months, a subtle chill had crept into our home. Her laughter became a rare commodity. Her touch, once warm and spontaneous, became a formal, almost reluctant gesture. She started working late, client dinners that stretched into the early morning. When I'd ask, her answers were clipped, wrapped in a cloak of annoyance, as if I were interrogating her. "It's for us, Mark," she'd say, her voice cold. "This promotion is important." She made me feel small for questioning her, for needing her. The woman I loved was turning into a manipulative stranger. The worst part was, she was making me believe it was my fault. The discovery began in pieces, like assembling a jigsaw puzzle of my own humiliation. A credit card receipt for a dinner for 2 at a ridiculously expensive restaurant on a night she was supposedly working alone. A lingering scent of a men's cologne I didn't wear on her coat. Then came the phone calls. Hushed conversations that would abruptly end the moment I walked into the room. Ow. She'd look up, a flicker of panic in her eyes before it was replaced by that familiar, cold mask of indifference. Just a colleague, she'd lie, and the ease with which the lie slipped from her lips was what hurt the most. The villains in this story, my wife and her unseen lover, felt untouchable. They were living a secret life in the shadows of mine, laughing at the loyal, trusting husband who paid for the very roof under which they planned their betrayals. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I'd booked a table at our favorite spot, the one where I proposed. I waited for 2 hours. She never showed. A single text message arrived at 10 p.m. "So sorry. Got held up at the office, rain check." I sat there in a restaurant filled with happy couples, and I just shattered. The humiliation was a physical weight, crushing the air from my lungs. I drove home through the rain-slicked streets of downtown Chicago, the city lights blurring through my tears. I walked into our apartment and found her not exhausted from work, but freshly showered, humming a tune I didn't recognize. That was it. The love I had for her died in that moment, replaced by something cold and hard and sharp. The broken man was gone. Strategist was born. My first call wasn't to a divorce lawyer. It was to a man named Frank, a private investigator with a reputation for being discreet and brutally effective. I met him in a dimly lit booth at a 24-hour diner in a forgotten corner of the city. I laid out the story, my voice hollow. I needed proof, irrefutable, soul-crushing proof. Frank just listened, his eyes missing nothing. He promised me he'd find everything, and he did. He was a ghost, tracking their every move. He sent me photos of them, Sarah and him, smug-looking finance bro named Alex kissing in a hotel parking garage, holding hands across a table at a cafe I'd taken her to on our first date. The pain was immense, but I channeled it. Every photo, every text message Frank intercepted, every hotel booking receipt he uncovered became a brick in the wall of her eventual ruin. I was building a fortress of evidence, and she had no idea she was about to be trapped inside. The trap had 2 parts, legal and social. Legally, with Frank's evidence, my lawyer drew up divorce papers that were airtight. Her infidelity voided the prenup clauses she had insisted on, the ones that guaranteed her half of my earnings in the apartment. Socially, the plan was more devastating. Sarah was on the verge of a huge promotion at her marketing firm, a senior VP position she'd been working towards for years. She was also the head of a major charity foundation, a role that painted her as a pillar of the community. Her entire identity was built on a carefully constructed image of success and integrity. I decided to let her climb as high as she could, just so the fall would be that much greater. I played the part of the oblivious, supportive husband, encouraging her, telling her how proud I was. Her arrogance was her blind spot. She and Alex felt so secure, so untouchable, that they got sloppy. The public exposure was set for the night of the annual charity gala, the biggest night of Sarah's year. She would be giving the keynote speech in front of every important person in her professional and social circle. 2 hours before the event, I served her with the divorce papers. The color drained from her face as she saw the first photo, a glossy 8x10 of her and Alex, intertwined on a hotel bed.
Oh.
She started to crumble, but I wasn't finished. "Your lover?" I said, my voice devoid of all emotion. "The man you've been seeing for the past 8 months? You know him as Alex from finance?" "I know him as Frank, my private investigator." Her mind couldn't process it. The scream that tore from her throat was something primal, a sound of a soul being ripped apart. The man she had been sleeping with, the man she had planned a future with, had been working for me the entire time. He had played his part perfectly, feeding her lies while feeding me the truth. Every sweet nothing he whispered to her was a line in his report to me. She didn't make it to the gala. Her world had imploded. The board of the charity received an anonymous package that night containing a detailed report of her affair and the misuse of foundation funds for her trysts. By morning, she had been fired from her job and removed from the charity board. Her friends, the ones who had secretly known and enabled her, vanished. She was ruined, a social pariah with nothing to her name. The divorce was swift and brutal. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her own actions. Sometimes, late at night, I stand by the floor-to-ceiling windows of my apartment. It's the one she loved so much, and I look out at the Chicago skyline. The city is just as beautiful, but it feels different now, colder. I won, but it feels like a hollow victory. I destroyed her life to reclaim my own, and I learned that the deepest cuts don't leave a visible scar.